What is going on out there, peeps? All right, let's get into gold, silver, cryptocurrencies. I told you, man, if you have a heart condition, you probably should not be investing in these things. Of course, I'm kidding. What you should not be doing is stressing out what we see on the market. They dip, they go up. They dip, they go up. That's not uncommon. But we're going to get into some interesting things for those of you who are asking me about stock as well as physical gold and silver. So hold on one second here. We're going to get into that. For those of you who have not yet made a move into precious metals, I cannot stress this enough. If you're here in the United States, please give our friends over that Money Metal Exchange a consideration. The link is in the description. If you buy more than $100 worth of precious metals, use promo code Pimpy, P-I-M-P-Y, and get a free half-ounce silver. You can only use this promo code one time. If you're not here in the United States, please look in the description, because in the description, there are other areas. I've covered, I think, Ireland, Australia, Canada, the UK. There's a UK in there. If you guys go to there's a company in the UK that has sent me a promo code for you guys. So if you spend more than, I think it's $250, 250 pounds in precious metals, use that promo code. They will give you a free ounce of silver. Okay, so look in the description. Don't be shy, you guys. All right. Okay, so let's get on over here. Don't forget, we got Pimpy's investment chat. It's the same name as the YouTube channel. Over here, we do talk about investment opportunities, including gold, silver, and cryptocurrencies. No politics there, please. Bring that over to here, which is the hidden things in front of your eyes. You can talk about politics, QAnon, current events, 9/11, false flag events, all that other fun-loving stuff. Just be respectful of one another is all I ask. For those of you who do not have Facebook, I do have a Twitter account. So the link to the two Facebook groups, including my Twitter account, are in the description. Come join me, all right? Here's what I'm talking about. Let's take a look at what's going on. Look at Ethereum. Although they're down a little bit, Ethereum is now at 387. It's went up a ton. It dropped back down around the 330s and was at the 340s, and now it's already at 387. Bitcoin was just over 1100. It came back just a little bit, but it looks like it's starting to rebound. All right, so this is what I'm talking about. So when you buy into cryptocurrencies, find one that you like, put your money into it, and just leave it alone and don't panic. It's the same with gold and silver. If you're thinking about buying cryptocurrencies, I do have a link in the description. Follow it, and they'll give you $10 that you could put towards cryptocurrencies. After you're established there, they will show you how to earn up to about $100 worth of free cryptocurrencies just by watching videos. They're paying you to watch videos. All right. So again, I'm a huge fan of Ethereum. I know there's a lot of you guys out there that are fans of other things out there, but Ethereum, and although I'm getting my ass kicked by Chainlink, which is finally going up, but again, these are the two that I'm in currently at the moment. All right. Should be no surprise that we see that gold and silver again teetering. It's been horizontal, staying around the same levels, about 1950 for gold, which means it's being supported at that level. Sometimes you see it dip down just a little bit. Sometimes you see it get a little bit higher. Silver goes anywhere from about 26.75 on up to where it is now. So these are what we call horizontal movements. They're not going up. They're not going down. As much as they're trying to knock the values down so that they can scare speculators out of the market, it's not working. The prices are being supported at this level. But I do want to say this because I do want to remind you that these people, when I mean these people, I'm talking about these people that are deep state, whatever you want to call them, these so-called elite, although I don't call them elite. Look, they do these things. There's a family history of these. Most of these wealthy people have been wealthy for generations. There's a reason for it. They have the power and ability to manipulate the markets. They do. They're all part of the same crime syndicate. The trick is not to fall for the bullshit. So if all of a sudden tomorrow you wake up and gold and silver has lost 50% of its value, I don't want you to panic. I don't care if it does that. You shouldn't panic. If it stayed at a 50% loss for 2 months, who gives a shit? Don't panic. Hold on to it. This is what they do to shake speculators away from their holdings. We don't panic, but hang tight because there's some big moves getting ready to happen. All right. So if you hold tight, you will benefit from a huge bull run that's coming up. And we're going to listen to a guy right now talk, Pierre Lysandre, I think is how you say his name. He's even telling you, if you think about what they did back in from 2000 to where we are now, you can see the amount of increase in precious metals. So that's the goal. I keep telling you guys, look, man, we are riding bodacious. We are leaning back, one hand in the rope, one hand behind our head, damn it, leaning against that ass, spurs up in the air. We are 6.5 on an 8-second ride. Don't you dare let go. He's called the unrideable bull for a reason. I did a video on him so you guys could see who he is. Bodacious was retired early from the rodeo scene because people were afraid he was going to kill riders. In other words, he's an unpredictable riding bull. That's where we are now, but make no doubt about it, gold and silver is at the beginning of a bull run. We are going to come out of this on the other side very, very happy. This isn't about preserving our wealth anymore. We are at a once-in-a-lifetime situation in which not only will you be able to preserve your wealth, but you're also going to be able to gain wealth, and I mean a lot of wealth. Now, I did a video not that long ago showing this guy had a great idea, whether people can afford to do this or not. I'm just saying, I want you to think about this. So he bought himself 10,000, or not 10,000, 10,000 ounces of silver. So that sounds like a lot, and it is. 10,000 ounces of silver. All right, so at the current rate, it's about $27,000 is what he spent to get it. 10,000 ounces. And he's holding on to it. So he had budgeted that if silver stayed at $18 an ounce, just think about this now, $18 an ounce. I talked about this. What he could do, and I'm going to show you something. So at 10,000 ounces, divided by 400. So 25 years, he could do what I'm about to tell you. So he had 10,000 ounces. What he said is, with his retirement pension, he can afford to sell, if silver stayed at $18 an ounce for the next 25 years, which we know damn well it's not going to. If silver, stayed at $18 an hour, he could afford to sell 400 ounces per year. That would give him $7,200, which comes out to about $600 per month. He can take that and add it to his retirement pension. So whatever he was getting on top of his retirement account, he could then increase it by $600 more per month. And he said he could live more than comfortable with that on top of his pension, on top of his retirement savings. Do you see that's pretty slick? Some of you have the ability to do the same thing this man's talking about. Some of you have the ability to get up to 10,000 ounces. So think about that. If in the worst case you don't do anything else, maybe you grab 10,000 ounces of silver and you hold on to it. And let's just say, for the sake of things, nothing happens. Kumbaya, the stock market survives. There is no economical crash. Your IRA, your retirement is all doing good. Gold and silver is still where it is. No big deal. So you get your monthly payments from your retirement. His plan is smart. 400 ounces for the next 25 years, adding an additional $600 per month on top of what he gets from his retirement. Do you see how silver and precious metals would do a great job of helping you live comfortably in the future? I just want you to think about that. Now, I get not all of you are in that position, but at the same time, I'm telling you, there's no way on God's green earth that it's going to stay at $18 an hour. But let's just say, for the sake of it, we know it's been hovering around $27 an hour. So let's say he does for the next 25 years, 400 ounces times $27. Well, that gets him $10,800 divided by 12. Woo! So he doesn't just get $900 on top of his retirement pension. He gets an additional $900. Do you see why precious metals are important? I'm just showing you this. This is something that your kids should be thinking about. They're young. That's fine. Just keep adding to your collection. Get up to around 10,000. And then you hold on to that so that when they're old enough to retire, they can do the same thing. Let your money work for you is what I'm trying to say. Do you see what I'm talking about? Right, let's get into this video because this man covers some really important things that I want you guys to hear about when it comes to the stock market as well as gold and silver. All right?
Our next guest has built a legacy with one of the most successful companies in the mining sector in the world. Pierre Lassonde joins us today. He has built Franco-Nevada up from the ground up, and today he talks to us about his experiences and what he sees next for the industry. Pierre, welcome back to the show. It's an honor to speak with you today.
Well, thank you very much for having me. It's always a pleasure.
Always a pleasure to have you, Pierre. We want to start with just a macro update. We have so much to discuss, but a lot of our investors are wondering what miners in the industry are thinking about the price action we've been seeing over the last few months. Last time you were on the show in April, gold was trading around $1,600. At over $2,000, gold prices have really expanded. Have you seen margin expansions as a result in the industry?
Yes, absolutely. And this is very comparable to the kind of margin expansion that we saw in the early 2000s. Don't forget, gold bottomed in 2001 at $250 to rise to $1,900 by 2011. So the rise in gold price, everybody thought would lead to enormous margin expansion.
Okay, I got to cut that off for just a second. I want you to think about what he just said. So in 2001, gold was just a little over $250 an ounce. By 2011, it was already at $1,900. So in just 10 years, it went from $200 to $1,900. Do you see what I'm talking about? Do you see why I'm saying precious metals, how important it is? Nobody talks about this. Nobody teaches you this in school. Nobody told us poor people, about this. The rich people know this information and they share the resources with one another. They share this kind of information with their children, is what they do. There's a reason why the rich stay rich and the poor end up being poor, because they don't know about this. They never thought about gold and silver in their lifetimes. It's never crossed their minds. So as you accumulate gold and silver, and you start thinking about how you want it, let's just say hypothetically again, we talk about the 10,000 ounces. Let's say time goes on and you realize you don't need all 10,000 ounces. So what do you do with that? Well, you give it to your kids. Help them towards their stack. So maybe they'll have more than 10,000 over their lifetime. And eventually what happens is for your family down the line, each generation to the next, the amount of gold and silver increases. But you have to be careful and make sure that you teach your children the importance of holding on to this, because kids nowadays will run out there and they'll cash it in. They don't give a shit, man. They want the latest video game. They want the newest fancy car. Your job is to explain to them why it's important not to do that. They can have a fancy car. They can have a fancy house without cashing in their precious metals. They just have to be smart about how they manage their money. All right, now is a time. Now is a great time to really start grabbing your kids, sitting down at the dinner table and saying, hey, let's have a talk. All right, and going down what I'm talking about. For those of you who do not know this, I'm going to show you something super quick, because a lot of you are like, yeah, I like your gold and silver videos, but here's the thing you might not be aware of. I actually got a playlist for you guys. For those of you who are interested, look, in the description, I have a list. It's a playlist. So you don't have to go through all my videos searching for the gold and silver videos. They're already pulled out on their own. There's a playlist. You can go down and listen to them by themselves. You can have your kids listen to them. Right now is a great time. We are at a serious, very interesting position in history. Not only will we be able to preserve our wealth, but we might also, I don't want to say might, I know we're also going to gain wealth with gold and silver.
And the stock went up in 2003, 4, 5, 6, 7, and then all of a sudden they all plateaued out. And then finally they turned around in 2011 and they never got the kind of multiple that you were expecting, because there wasn't any margin expansion. And there are two reasons for that. One is the oil price kept going up. And energy, as we know, is 25% more or less of the cost of operating gold mines. So as the energy price went from $25 a barrel to $140 a barrel, the margins were not expanding as fast. And then because during the late 90s, the gold price kept going down, mining companies essentially stopped exploration. And when the gold price started to come around, what they did, because they didn't have any reserve, they dropped their cutoff grade. And so they were producing the same amount of gold, but moving twice as much dirt. And that too cost a lot of money. And you had no margin expansion. The difference today is very, very different.
Yes.
Number one, because oil prices are flatlining. When you look at oil price today, $37. But when you look at the oil price for the next year, you can look at the contango, it's almost nothing. You can look at 2 years out, it's almost nothing. So the market is telling you the oil price is well fed, there's enough oil out there, and it's going nowhere. So that's a 25% component of the miners, of their costs.
Yep.
And then the other thing is that in the last 20 years, in terms of cutoff, gold miners have decreased their cutoff to the point now where open pit mining, they're down at 0.05 of a gram in terms of cutoff. Well, the next cutoff is dirt. Okay, there's nothing left. All right, so the open pit miners don't have any ability to increase their reserve, even if, because they can't cut their cutoff grade anymore. They're down. So that's a good thing, because it means that as the gold price goes up, that difference will go right down to the margin, and you are seeing margin expansion.
Yes.
The gold miners,
Huge margin expansion. Let me tell you something. I showed you guys, if you guys watch my stock watch videos, I showed you guys, look, gold, or I should say miners in general, have shot up just since April. And I'm not talking by a little bit. I'm talking about a lot. Some cases, 100% increase, 200, 300% increase is what I'm talking about. All right. I show you people this. Look at this. So when I first, and this is when we, on this fictitious portfolio, this was the original amount of the investment. This was the current as of where we are Wednesday. All right. So look at this. Discovery metal was 31 cents. Where are we now? Where are we 3, 4 times, 5 times? So 500% increase. 500% increase since April. Endeavor was 145. What is it? 300% increase. Alexco 200% increase. First Majestic, well, not quite 100%, but close to it. Make Silver, pretty close to 100% increase. Silvercrest, pretty close. But we got some beauties. Discovery is huge. I talked about this one. But look at Drexion. Drexion is almost 300% increase. This is great. Pan America, almost 200% increase. Fortuna, what is that? 200% increase, 250% increase. Wheaton, almost 100% increase. Silvercorp, what is that? 175% increase. Barrick Gold, not quite. Okay. But the point being, yeah, we know that these minor stocks are good. So people go, well, Pimpy, what does that mean? You said to stay away from stocks. I did say that. Okay. Because what I'm trying to learn is this. And I have learned this so far from what I've been researching. That precious metal stocks, when the economy goes bad, actually do very well, which makes sense. If gold and silver does good, so do the stocks in the precious metals. The difference is precious metals that you own and you hold, or that you have stored somewhere, there is an immediate increase in value. I shouldn't say immediate. There is as the value increases, you have access to that immediately. But stocks are more long term. Now, the benefit of owning the stocks is this. So whatever you usually get in your increase of precious metals, you can get somewhere between 3 to 5 times as much holding on to precious metal stocks. I'm trying to become comfortable with them as I learn more about them. As much as I keep telling people to stay away from the stock market, this might be the types of stocks that you can get into and feel safe at, and not only feel safe with, but also benefit long term. So again, let me finish learning and I'll share the info with you like I always do. Hey, I'm just like you, not an expert. Look, I study bejeebus out of everything. I analyze the bejeebus out of everything. We're all in the same boat. I'm trying to figure out what we can do to be protected from what's coming up, and not only protected, how we could benefit like these rich people do and come out on the other side better off than we are today. All right?
Today, I've never had it so good. The margins that they are producing are the fattest, the best, the absolute unbelievable margin they've ever had.
Yes,
Ever.
they are.
So I guess an investor who is new to the space is probably wondering, gee, have I missed the boat on mining stocks since margins are at the best ever? Or is this the right time now?
Well, I think the answer to that, David, was provided a couple of weeks ago when Warren Buffett bought $500 million worth of Barrick gold at
Yes.
today's price. And what is Warren Buffett seeing? This is not an individual that bets on the gold price.
So what he's saying is this: Warren Buffett has not been a fan of gold and silver at all. He told people it's a waste. Don't ever invest in the gold and silver. It does nothing. It sits there. It doesn't do anything to produce more money. And then all of a sudden, 20% of his entire hedge fund has now moved into physical gold and silver as well as into the stock of gold and silver.
He doesn't bet on commodity. What he's seeing is that he can buy Barrick at a fraction of the kind of multiple that he believes is the right multiple. So,
And I have Barrick on my stock watch list.
no, you haven't missed the boat at all, even though the gold stocks are up double from the bottom. But you got to think at the bottom, 6 months, a year ago, the stocks were so cheap, but nobody was interested. Nobody was interested. It's the same old story in our space. At the bottom of the market, there's never enough money. And at the top, there's always way too much. And we're barely off the bottom at this point in time. And there's a lot to go before we reach the top.
With margins at the levels they are now, one would expect exploration activity to pick up significantly. Are you seeing a lot of that this year?
We are seeing some, but the exploration activity, the majors are obviously ramping up.
Okay, I don't want to bore you with this, so let me try to simplify this so you can understand what this man is saying. The demand for physical gold and silver is increasing. The supply for gold and silver out there is very low. We are seeing some of the richest people, pensions, hedge funds, all moving into position. These are the same people that told you, don't waste your time with precious metals. I told you, don't listen to what they say, watch what they do. Ray Dalio's told everybody, don't ever hold more than 5% of precious metals in your portfolio. And guess what he just did? He's now increased his holdings to 20%. Do you see what I'm saying? When we start seeing what the big dogs are doing, follow them. Don't listen to what they say, watch what they do. See, they're not going to teach us this information. We have to figure it out together. So that's why I'm saying I do what I do. Somebody try to call me out and saying, hey, look, why does Pimpy have stock watch if he said he doesn't own stock? No, that's a good question. But the point being, if you would know why I've created that from the beginning, then you know why it's there. Because somebody say, hey, Pimpy, can you make a suggestion on specific stocks in your opinion that we could benefit from? And I said, yeah, in my opinion, thanks to the Rona, There's a handful of stocks, and we started watching them. But as time went on, I changed those stocks, and I started to realize, hold on, man, there are stocks in precious metals that we should be paying attention to. So now, having said that, the more I learned, the more I will move into position some of my holdings into shares of stocks, into these particular minor stocks, just because I think in the long run, I can benefit from it a little bit more than holding on to physical gold and silver. All right. But until I am well educated in that area and I feel comfortable with it, you know, it's up to you what you guys do. A lot of you have, I can tell you this right now. There's a couple of you that went and watched my stock watch videos and went all the way back to when I first started talking about these particular Discovery and Drexion. And one of them, especially Discovery. A person moved a few $100,000 into Discovery Metals. I think we were like a week or two into this. So it was just at 35 or 36 cents a share. So they tell me, they write me all the time and say, thank you. You have no idea how much you've increased my holding, how much money they have made off this. This is the point. That doesn't mean it's guaranteed to happen. I'm just saying we've been monitoring these particular stocks now since April for the most part. A couple of them are new. So I am watching what they're doing. I'm watching their performances. That's what I'm encouraging you guys to do. So this way then when you go to make a decision, you can at least make an educated decision on which ones to move into based on the performance that we have been monitoring at least 3 times a week. I show you up and down where they are, the good, the bad, and ugly. Discovery Metals is huge. Drexion is another big money maker. Endeavor is another huge money maker. These are big ones. These are 3 of the 4 I'm thinking about moving into personally. All right, you guys, I wanted to share this information because it's important. So for those of you who are nervous about moving into physically holding gold and silver, maybe you might consider moving into those particular stocks. Barrick Gold was on my list. If we see that somebody like a Warren Buffett moving $500 million into Barrick Gold, it's for a reason. All right, you guys, so that's it for now. If you liked the video, hit the thumbs up button. If you're not a subscriber, please do so, because when you do, it helps out the channel, and I surely do appreciate it. What I'm saying to you is this. Hang tight, my friends. We are going to come out on the other end a lot better than where we are right now. All right? I'll talk to you later.